Hey everybody, this is the Fig Fed News January 16th edition. Not a lot of matches on the card this week, but we did have a very successful pay-per-view. Let's find out who it was. So some wrestling news though, we got lots of in talks. I finally got confirmation about my Sean O'Haire, so Sean O'Haire is in talks, almost going to be finished up. Darren Young, Damien Sandow, Yoshitatsu, added Randy Rose and Stan Lane, and even Tatanka into talks. So stay tuned for those. Transferring though, Ryback was transferred to ECW. Adam Cole is also sent to ECW. Deuce and Domino are going to SmackDown now instead. Brian Pillman went to WCW. Gangrel to Raw. Kevin Thorne to ECW. Brad Armstrong to the UWF. Carlito to AAA. And Danny Basham and Doug Basham both to SmackDown. This week also signed were George Steele, George South, Brian Adis, Buzz Sawyer, the Italian Stallion, Bobby Eaton, Dennis Cottery, Bobby Fulton, Tony Rogers, and Pez Watley. Now, of course, this is done ahead of time, so chances are George Steele has already been up for order on Mattel Creations. But again, this is Fig Fed fake news. So, GEW this week saw Don Morocco defeat the Junkyard Dog and Muhammad Ali defeat Hillbilly Jim. The main event would see Dynamite Kid defeat Paul Orndorff, non-title. Nothing happened for the WWF this week. WCW, however, did see Rick Rude defeat Stevie Ray and Magnum TA defeat Ricky Steamboat, both of them making their debuts. William Regal would defeat Larry Zbyszko after Ric Flair told him that if he was able to win his match, he would be an honorary member in the Fourth Horsemen. We'll have to find out what happens now that he did not fulfill that promise. Raw, no match this week. Raw is War, however. Dean Malenko would debut and defeat Sky Tuhati in a great opening match. Chris Benoit also debuts against Terry Funk, who was debuting, both sent from ECW. The Hardy Boys would defeat D'Lo Brown and Farouk, and the main event saw Stone Cold Steve Austin and Ken Shamrock defeat the New Age Outlaws. Nothing on SmackDown this week. However, ECW held its pay-per-view. In fact, the only pay-per-view of the whole week was the Boogeyman defeating Reggie in the opening match. Matt Riddle defeated John Morrison and Ted DiBiase Jr. to be crowned the first ever ECW World Television Champion of this era. Shelton Benjamin would defeat Sabu. The Crime Time would actually defeat the B Team to win the ECW World Tag Team titles. And Rob Van Dam defeats Test in the main event to become the ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Nothing happened over there. Very light show. AEW Dynamite, however, would see Private Party defeat Butcher and Blade. And in the main event saw Ricky Starks defeat Samoa Joe. Nothing on Ring of Honor or NXT. However, new WCW, the NWCW, would be Mankind defeating R-Truth. Sheamus and Cesaro defeats MVP and Rikishi. And in the main event saw Big E defeat Rick Steiner. Like I said, very, very blank card this week. A lot of no shows. Excite, however, would see the Dudleys defeat the Bushwhackers, and Wade Barrett would defeat Keith Lee in the main event. Nothing in UCW. TJ Perkins, though, would over on XWF in his debut defeat Sin Cara, and the main event saw Jinder Mahal defeat Tensai. CWF never had a show this week. No show there. Nor Red Impact. Nor AAA. However, IWGP would see Joey Mercury defeat Chris Harris, and the main event saw Lance Storm defeat Mike Awesome. UWF did not have a show this week. Nor TNA. BCW, his debut as Kenny Dykstra defeat Hardcore Holly in an upset, and the main event saw Buff Bagwell defeat Taz in a hard-hitting bout. And in the IWF, Funaki would defeat Trevor Murdoch in a huge upset. Kenzo Suzuki defeats Shannon Moore. Maven and the Highlanders would defeat the Spirit Squad of Mikey, Mitch, and Johnny. The main event would see Marcus Corvon defeat Orlando Jordan. That about wraps up this week. It's a short week here on January 16th edition. However, here's a little recap of the champions crowned. Crime Time winning the ECW World Tag titles. Matt Riddle winning the ECW World Television Championship. And Rob Van Dam winning the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. That's all for this week. Check back in next week as we find out just who debuts and what to see happen on the card this week. There are currently no scheduled pay-per-views for a little while. So there will be probably no more title matches for a while, but there will still be weekly progress and storylines to build. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Till next time.